What seemed like a ridiculous and vaguely demeaning task quickly turned into a vicious struggle for survival. Welcome to Sweet Tooth. Hello everyone, my name's Elspeth, welcome to the Planeswalker Pantheon, and today I am opening up a collector's box of the latest set for Magic the Gathering, Wilds of Eldraine. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright. We've got our collector boosters right there. That actually came out really nice and smooth. Alright, I'll keep them over here. Oh good, they finally decided to include a tear tab in the collector's boosters, because my gosh, those things can be hard to open on occasion. Alright, so we've got our foil token. Ooh, foil Waste Not, 1 and a black for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, add double black. And whenever an opponent discards a non-creature on land, draw a card. Leyline of Anticipation, just a normal one. 2 and 2 blue, enchantment. If it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Heartflame Duelist, 1 and a white for a creature human knight, a 3/1. Instant sorcery spells you control have lifelink, and you can cast for its adventure of Heartflame Slash for 2 and a red. It's an instant. It deals 3 damage to any target. Ooh, full art, extended art, Tegwell, Duke of Splendor. 1 blue and black legendary creature fairy noble to 2/3 flying and death touch. Other fairies you control get +1/+1, and whenever another fairy you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life. Elusive Otter, single blue for a creature otter. It's a 1/1 with prowess. Creatures with power less than Elusive Otter's power can't block it. Or you can cast its Adventure of Grove's Bounty. It's an X and a green for a sorcery. Distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. Got a foil Hatching Plans, normal Vampiric Rites, Pretty Plains, and some uncommons. That'll work. Next one up. We have food. Talion's Messenger, 2 and a blue for a creature fairy noble, 1/3 flying. Whenever you attack with 1 or more fairies, draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, put a +1/+1 counter on target fairy you control. We have an Oppression, 1 and 2 black for an enchantment. Whenever a player casts a spell, that player discards a card. Ooh, we have a full art Will, Scion of Peace, 1 white and blue legendary creature human wizard, 2/4 with vigilance. Tap spells you cast this turn that are white and or blue cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Shadow Puppeteer, 6 and a blue for a creature fairy wizard, 4/4 flying and ward 2. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 black fairy rogue creature tokens with flying. Whenever a creature you control with flying attacks, you may have it become a red dragon with base power and toughness 4/4 in addition to its other colors and types until end of turn. Raging Battle Mouse, 1 and a red for a creature mouse. It's a 2/1, and the second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. Celebration, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if 2 or more non-land permanents entered the battlefield under your control this turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Got a foil Raid Bombardment, I believe that's all, yes it is. Hatching Plans, normal one. Pretty full art Swamp. And some commons. And some uncommons. Next one up. Food. Ooh, foil alternate artwork Virtue of Knowledge. 4 and a blue for an enchantment. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Or you can cast the adventure Vantress Visions for 1 and a blue instant. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Ooh, anime as foretold. 2 and a blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on as foretold. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast with mana value X or less, where X is the number of time counters on as foretold. Twinning Twins, 2 and 2 blue creature, fairy wizard. Flying Vigilance with Ward 1 and it's a 4/4, or you can cast the adventure Swift Spiral for an instant at 1 and a white. Exile target non-token creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Spiteful Hexmage, single black for a creature human warlock, does 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, create a cursed roll token attached to target creature you control. Foil Gumdrop Poisoner, 2 and a black for a creature human warlock, it's a 3/2 with lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn, or you can tempt with treats, which is an instant for a single black, create a food token. Foil Dark Tutelage, normal Raid Bombardment, Pretty Foil Island, and we'll flick through the rest of these. Next one up. Another food. Ooh, alternate artwork Gumdrop Poisoner. We won't read it because we read it just before, but the alt art looks really cool. Rest in Peace, 1 and a white for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile all graveyards. If a card or token will be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Horned Locked Whale. I've not seen this card. 4 and 2 blue for a creature whale with flash, Ward 2. It's a 6/6. It enters the battlefield tapped unless it's your turn. You can cast Lagoon Breach for 1 and a blue, which is an instant adventure. The owner of target attacking creature you don't control puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Extended Art Normal, Tegwall, Duke of Splendor. Lord Skitter's Blessing, 1 and a black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a wicked roll token attached to target creature you control. At the beginning of your draw step, if you control an enchanted creature, you lose 1 life and you draw an additional card. Foil Vampiric Rites, normal Grasp of Fate, Pretty Forest, and we'll flick through the rest. Next one up. Food token. Ooh, Foil Dawn of Hope. 1 and a white for an enchantment. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. 3 and a white, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Ooh, Repercussion. 1 and 2 red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, Repercussion deals that much damage to that creature's controller. Another Gumdrop Poisoner. Knick-Knack Oof. So X and a green for a creature Oof. It's a 1/1. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of aura cards with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that won't put into your battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. Foil Likeness Looter. 2 and a black for a creature fairy shapeshifter. It's a 1/1 with flying. Tap to draw a card, then discard a card, and then X, it becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except it has flying and this ability. Activate only as a sorcery. Foil Curiosity, Dark Tutelage, Pretty Plains, and we'll scan through the rest. Sorry, that's an uncommon. Next one up. A food. A Extended Art Foil Tale for the Ages. 1 and a white for an enchantment. Enchanted creatures you control get +2/+2. Prismatic Omen. 1 and a green. Enchantment lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Virtue of Persistence. 5 and 2 black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Or you can cast Lochthwain Scorn for 1 and a black as a sorcery adventure. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. Spectre of Mortality, 3 and 2 black for a creature spectre. It's a 3/3 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile 1 or more creature cards from your graveyard. When you do, each other creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards exiled this way. Another Virtue of Persistence. We won't read that because we literally just read it. Season of Growth in foil. Season of Growth not in foil. Pretty Mountain. And we'll skim through the rest of these. Next one up. Food. Oh, we have a foil extended art Relentless Fortress. It's a land. It enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add white or black. And for 2 white and black, it becomes a 1/4 white and black nightmare creature until end of turn. It's still a land. And when it attacks, defending player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Fraying Sanity. 2 and a blue for an enchantment or a curse. Enchant player. At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player mills X cards where X is the number of cards put into their graveyard from anywhere this turn. Devouring Sugarmaw, 2 and 2 black creature horror. It's a 6/6 with menace and trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token. If you don't, tap Devouring Sugarmaw. And you can cast its adventure, Have for Dinner for 1 and a white as an instant. Create a 1/1 white human and a food token. Ogre Chitterlord, 4 and 2 red for a creature ogre warrior. It's a 6/5 with menace. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, it created 2 1/1 black rat creature tokens. Then, if you control 5 or more rats, each rat you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Agatha's Soul Cauldron, 2 mana for a legendary artifact. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creatures cards exiled with the Soul Cauldron. Tap to exile a target card from a graveyard. When a creature card is exiled this way, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Foil Ground Seal and a Spreading Seas. Pretty Island. And the rest. Next one up. Food. Extended art Hilda's Crown of Winter. 3 mana for a legendary artifact. 1 and tap to tap target creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate during your turn. 3. Sacrifice Hilda's Crown of Winter. Draw a card for each tapped creature your opponents control. Hey, we got the Bitter Blossom. 1 and a black for a tribal enchantment fairy. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. Restless Cottage. It's the green black land. Same as everything else, except it taps for green and black. 2 green and black to make it become a 4/4 black and green horror creature token. When it attacks, create a food token and exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Lord Skitter Sewer King. 2 and a black for a legendary creature rat noble. It's a 3/3. Whenever another rat enters the battlefield under your control, exile up to 1 target card from an opponent's graveyard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. Questing Druid. 1 and a green for a creature human druid. It's a 1/1. Whenever you cast a spell that's white, blue, black, or red, put a +1/+1 counter on the druid. Or you can Seek the Beast at instant speed for 1 and a red. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until your next end step. You may play those cards. Foil Dragon Mantle and Knightly Valor. Pretty Mountain, and we will flick through the rest. Next one up. We have a food. We have a foil Mana Flare. 2 and a red for an enchantment. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. Hardened Scale. Single green for an enchantment. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, That many +1/+1 counters are put on it. That many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on it instead. That is such a hard thing to say. Cruel Summerphage, 1 and a black for a creature nightmare to star. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. And for 1 and a blue, you can cast its adventure sorcery, Can't Wake Up. Target player mills 4 cards. We got the Goose Mother, X and green and a blue, legendary creature Bird Hydra. It's a 2/2 with flying. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield, you create half of X food tokens rounded up. Whenever the Goose Mother attacks, you may sacrifice a food. If you do, draw a card. Lich King's Conquest, 4 and a black for a sorcery. Sacrifice any number of artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens. Return that many creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Foil Stab Wounds and a normal Compulsion. Pretty Forest, and we'll flick through the rest. Alright, nearly done. We're up to our third last pack. Got a food. We have a foil alternate art Decadent Dragon, 2 and 2 red for a creature dragon. It's a 4/4 flying and trample, and when it attacks, you create a treasure token. Or you can cast its Adventure of Expensive Taste for 2 and a black. It's an instant adventure. Exile the top 2 cards of target opponent's library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. We have another Mana Flare. We have Kellen the Fey-Blooded in the alternate art. So for 2 and a red, you get a legendary creature human fairy, 2/2 with double strike. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 for each aura and equipment attached to Kellen. And you can cast his Adventure Birthright Boon for 1 and a white. Search your library for an aura equipment, reveal and put it into your hand, and then shuffle. Wildwood Mentor. So for 2 and a green, you get a 1/1 Tree Folk. When a token enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on the Mentor. When it attacks, another target attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the Mentor's power. The Huntsman's Redemption. 2 and a green for an Enchantment Saga. Chapter 1 has you create a 3/3 green beast. The second chapter has you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, search your library for a creature or basic land card, reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle. Then chapter 3, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn. Foil Impact Tremors, normal Utopia Sprawl, and a foil Mountain. And that will be those. Second last pack. We have a food. We have a foil Greater Oromancy, 1 and a white for an enchantment. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. Enchanted creatures you control have Shroud. Fire Emancipation, 3 and triple red for an enchantment. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent player instead. Restless Spite, the red-blue land. Same thing, enters battlefield tapped, taps for either blue or red, and for blue or red, until end of turn, it becomes a 2/1 red elemental creature with, as long as it's your turn, this creature has first strike and it's still a land, and when it attacks, you scry 1. Archon of the Wild Rose, 2 and 2 white for a creature Archon, it's a 4/4 with flying. Other creatures you control that are enchanted by auras you control have base power and toughness and have flying. Spellbook Vendor, 1 and a white for a creature human peasant, a 2/2 with vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1. When you do, create a sorcerer roll token attached to target creature you control. Foil Grasp of Fate and Intangible Virtue. Pretty Island and commons and uncommons, all in foil. Alright, a little bit of last pack magic. We have a food token. Foil Extend Art Spectre of Mortality. You've read this before. Or we have the Anime Parallel Lives. 3 and a green for an enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. Mosswood Dreadnought, 1 and a green for a creature human knight, it's a 3/2 with trample. When it dies, you may cast it from your graveyard as an adventure until the end of your next turn. Its adventure is Dread Whispers for 1 and a black. You draw a card and you lose a life. Extended art, Imodane the Pyrohammer, 2 and 2 red, legendary creature human knight, it's a 4/4. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control targets only a single creature, deals damage to that creature, Imodane deals that much damage to each opponent. Ooh, Belinda Grand Squall. So for the full teamer, so the green, the blue, and the red, legendary creature, giant noble, 4/4 with trample. Permanent spells you cast that have an adventure cost 1 less to cast. And you can pay 2 green, blue, and red to seek thrills. It's an instant. Mill 7 cards, then you put all cards that have an adventure from among the milled cards into your hand. Foil Griffinary, normal Impact Tremors, Pretty Foil Swamp, and some last commons and uncommons. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. It lets people know that I exist and making this content mostly for my entertainment, but if you're also entertained by it, you're very much welcome. You can follow me on Twitter, links are down below, and you can also find me at the Planeswalker Pantheon on Facebook, and you can follow me on Twitter as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.